Good evening and welcome to James Monroe's 2014-2015 Back to School Night. Last year, in light of our 50th anniversary, we chose Aladdin as the school production and set our theme as a whole new world, taking a magic carpet ride back to the 60s. Little did we know how literal its meaning would become as we journeyed from 7 Sharp Road, were college-bound for 3 months at Middlesex, and landed here in late August to begin Chapter 3 of our story. Since our setting is so unfamiliar to all of us, let's take a look at it from inside out, or in this case, from outside in, starting with our school sign. In the month since March 22nd, it has come to represent the resilience and strength of this school community and was the first to arrive here in Island. Seeing it in place just made it feel like we had arrived home. While we're outside, let's take a look at the brand new district-owned buses, which transport our children every day. Beautiful in every way, the runs are clearly labeled and the bus drivers all district employees who go out of their way to ensure the safety and well-being of their riders. In keeping with our Manners Matters program, the focus this year will be on appropriate bus behavior. Who knows, maybe Mrs. DeCoit can conjure up a Golden School Bus Award for those students who best exhibit these qualities. Now, let's take a look inside. Built in 1952, there are 3 levels to this facility, each covering almost 30,000 square feet. Needless to say, we are still finding our way around and sometimes wish for a personal GPS system to help us navigate. Because of its size, every teacher, including content specialists, have a classroom of no less than 900 square feet.
No trabaja.
On the ground floor, we find Senora Bauza in her very own casa. Her spacious quarters will allow students to be further immersed in Spanish culture through song and dance. Fiesta, anyone? The next room provides Mr. Pecorelli and Ms. Ford a place to make music happen. The carpeting and dropped ceiling provide acoustical integrity, and the room is large enough to house the entire chorus for practice if need be. The final special on this level is art, allowing Mrs. DeCoit the opportunity to have all of her supplies at the ready and still have plenty of room for her students to spread out and create. No more art on a cart for her. The last stop on this floor is the cafeteria. Its size so massive that it would allow all students to eat at the same time if necessary, something I hope I never have to experience in my lifetime. The kitchen has been reimagined by our food service provider Chartwell's and is any chef's dream. It allows all of our meals to be cooked to perfection and served at just right temperatures under the direction of Mrs. Duran and staff. Your children are walked to the lunchroom by their classroom teachers, where they're supervised by our lunch aid staff. At the end of the period, their homeroom teacher meets them and escorts them back up to their room. Just across from the cafeteria is the stairwell that leads to the main entrance. Here, doors are locked and entry is gained by buzzing in and identifying who you are and the reason for your visit. All guests are greeted by Mrs. Semino, who signs them in and directs them to the office. This security protocol keeps everyone accounted for at all times. This lobby is the area where we plan to memorialize our story from our first day of school at 7 Sharp Road to our field day at MetLife Stadium, the wonderful time we spent at Middlesex County College, and getting settled here. Mrs. DeCoit culled through thousands of pictures and chose several from each event. Blowing them up in a black and white format provides us with striking memories of the year we left behind. Walking up the steps, your eyes immediately rest upon the expansive setting for physical education. Very clearly a gym, not an all-purpose room. This space is definitely constructed for physical activity and will allow Mr. Fernandez and Mrs. Reif to offer our children a well-rounded, comprehensive curriculum experience. You will also notice, much to the delight of our play advisors, Ms. Bazier and Mrs. Romeo, there is a stage, which of course leads me to reveal this year's production. Carrying forward the Disney tradition, this fall, our talented students and staff will be performing The Little Mermaid. Given what happened with Aladdin and A Whole New World, I'm trying not to read too much into this year's theme song, Under the Sea. Walking to either side of this area leads to the offices of key service providers. Over here, behind this door, we'll find our curriculum resource teacher, Kathy Minto, who works closely with the teaching staff to ensure that all curricular materials and instructional protocols are in place. Mrs. Stanko, our speech-language specialist, is safely secluded in the middle, allowing her to deliver services without any distraction. And Mrs. Bennett, our guidance counselor, holds the last spot, large enough for small group meetings and private counseling, as well as providing a discreet setting for her to meet with parents about issues which may impact their child's learning. On this side, we find the main office, where Mrs. Hook and Mrs. Cameron keep us organized and are there to respond to all of your questions and concerns on a daily basis. The best form of communication is via email using their first and last name at edison.k12.nj.us. For emergencies or in need of a quick response, call 732-452-2970. Our school nurse, Mrs. Levine, is right down the hall, where she provides yearly blood pressure, height, weight, vision, and hearing screenings, and asks that I remind you to make sure all of your medical paperwork is up to date and to keep all snacks for your children healthy, meaning sugar is not the first ingredient. This floor also houses all of our primary grade classrooms, starting with kindergarten at the far end of the floor, then first grade, and finally wrapping around to grade 2. Aside from your child's own classroom, another highlight here is the beautiful library tech space, much bigger than anything we've ever experienced. Right now, the shelves are empty, anxiously awaiting the arrival of our brand new book collection at the end of this month. Our library aide, Mrs. Beal, will be coordinating their organization as we reinstate the automated system. In addition, all of our K-2 children will utilize this space to take some of our district benchmark assessments, given to inform instruction for all learners. Now let's go up to the intermediate level. As we start investigating all of the nooks and crannies of this building, we have found shortcuts to get us to where we want to go. For instance, if we walk through the gym to this little used staircase, we make our way to the 5th grade classrooms. Walking around this floor, we next find the 4th grade rooms bordering the outside walls of the school. This floor also houses our gifted and talented classroom and math and literacy interventionist spaces. Our 3rd grade rooms round out the floor, leading to another staircase that can bring us right down to where we started, outside the Spanish and music rooms. Before we leave here, there's one last room I'd like to show you, our state-of-the-art tech room. As in every other classroom in this building, you find a Promethean board. In addition, there are 50 hard-wired computers and 6 workstations, making it a perfect environment for project-based learning, such as the transdisciplinary units that have been introduced into our curriculum, as well as a setting in which the brand new park assessment can be administered. New this year throughout the district is the usage of Chromebooks in grades 3, 4, and 5. Students have each been assigned one to use, as well as being given their own username and password. Exploration and navigation on the system has already begun. All of these learners took their first benchmark assessment right in their classrooms on this device. As they gain a better understanding of its use and the importance of digital responsibility, your child will be bringing it home to complete assignments, as well as continuing to benefit from its research and word processing capabilities. There are many other district initiatives that will be unfolded this year, some of which teachers will explain tonight. Speaking of the staff, I believe in light of what has happened in the past year, most of you realize how remarkable they are. Many of you who came to open house may not realize that they only had 3 days to transform their classrooms and make the experience memorable, not only for you, but for your children. They are truly special and have made James Monroe what it is today. Finally, take the time to visit our PTO in the gym. Without their support, there would be no field trips or special days for each of our grade levels. In fact, our 4th graders leave on Friday for their environmental expedition to Sandy Hook. These dedicated volunteers are the backbone of this community. Please help them out in any way that you can. So here we are, back where we started at our school sign. Just looking at it conjures up every step of the journey that led us to our new home and tells the story of who we are. We are James Monroe.